All right, Dan, stick with us here because we're talking a lot about AI. We got to talk about the leader in this space, certainly on the move this morning. It was another blockbuster quarter from Nvidia after the bell last night, another blowout quarter. Revenue soaring over 200% in the third quarter from last year. There is some concern, though, just about the impact of export restrictions, and that's giving investors a bit of pause here this morning. We did see the stock initially saying just about 6% on the heels of the report in aftermarket trading. Right now, ahead of the open, we're up just about 0.3%. Dan, when you take a look at these results here that we got from Nvidia, what does this signal just in terms of their position? And it almost seems like nothing is stopping this company anytime soon.
I mean, the godfather of AI, Jensen, the Don Corleone of AI, yet again, that's what the street's focused on. Another $2 billion beat. It shows that this AI gold rush is as real as we've ever seen from a monetization perspective. And this is one, not just in terms of Nvidia, in terms of where I believe the stock continues to head up and to the right. It's what it means for broader tech. This shows monetization is now here. Use cases are exploding. The China worries were really essentially overblown, I think, contained. And that's why I think this morning the bears go back into their dark caves hibernation mode.
Dan, can we just touch on China for a second? You mentioned the fears being overblown. The company, Nvidia, estimates that 20 to 25% of their sales in the data center are affected by this. But as I understand, Nvidia is able to tweak their product offerings to comply with the changing regulations in fairly creative ways. Can we or can investors count on that continuing into the future? And is that really the only strategy they have, or are there other things in the mix?
I mean, they have other things they could pull out of their pocket, but that's why, okay, is this an issue? Yeah, they called it out on the conference call, but I think much more contained than maybe worries. And that's why I think if you look at some of the headlines over the last month or two, you always have to sort of, I think, be weird, because these companies, the Nadellas, the Jensens, okay, the Cooks, 3 steps ahead in terms of where this is all going. And this is just another phenomenal poker move for Nvidia, and that's why this is a stock, in our opinion, probably heading towards 600.
Dan, Nvidia, though, has also made itself a bit of a target here. When you take a look at the success that they have had in selling their AI chips, we've seen Microsoft unveil its in-house AI processor last week. Amazon's AWS, a similar move here. AMD set to roll out a competitor soon. Do you see that at all denting demand down the road? And how much of that, if at all, has been priced into the stock at this point?
Yeah, look, as you get into 25, 26, 27, you have other chips that will come through. But for right now, I mean, they are the only game in town. And I think that's really the focus here when it comes to AI. Those GPUs are essentially gold. And I think that's the important thing, because that's driving the AI revolution that, in our opinion, has begun the new tech bull market.
And Dan, just thinking about Nvidia's reach here, you were saying they're the only game in town. Effectively, have they been able to just do away with the cyclicality of the chip cycle? How long can these steady profits, the beat and a raise, continue? I guess the final question is, the ultimate question is, what's the TAM of this AI market? Has anybody figured that out yet?
I mean, we've talked about $1 trillion incremental in terms of AI over the next decade. That could be conservative. And that's why right now, I mean, Jensen's drinking a mimosa, because this is just, it's really their world. Everyone else is paying rent when it comes to AI.
So Dan, what does the upside look like from Nvidia between here and maybe a year from now, the 12-month price target?
I mean, look, it's Wedbush, 600 price target has been our view. But I think the most important thing, it's not just about Nvidia. It's about what this is about Microsoft, Google, Palantir, the Messi of AI, and I think Datadog, MongoDB. This has begun now. The shores of tech are going to see, what I view as a 1995 moment, anything we've seen since the start of the internet.
All right, Dan, we got to leave it there. Always great to have you. Dan Ives, Wedbush Managing Director and Senior Equity Analyst.